Hey guys, looks like we are live. Welcome. Thanks for joining me today. Happy Friday. So we're here today. This is just going to be casual. We're here to answer your questions about your websites and also about, I'm backed up here, this way. Right here, the Profitable Website Launchpad is open for special enrollment this week. It ends tonight at midnight Central Time. So I'm also here to answer your questions about that. So if you have any, if you're wondering if it's right for you, go ahead and ask. Or if you just want to ask something about your website, I'm answering that too. So let's just get going. Let's go with Razia. All right. I'm using Wix. Do I need to change to WordPress to use your course in the templates? Okay, so we're starting off with a question about the Launchpad. So the way I always describe it is like this. So the Launchpad, what it really does at its core is it helps you create the content for your website that's going to sell your services. It's for service businesses only. It's not really for e-commerce or anything like that. But what it's going to do is it's going to help you create all that content that you need. So the last part of it, the last module, that is where we get into actually building the website. And I do show you how to do it using Elementor in WordPress. So if you already know how to use Wix, then feel free to just kind of follow along and look at, okay, these are the sections that we're building, and then just recreate them using Wix. There's nothing that says you have to use Elementor. That's just how I choose to teach it because it's like the easiest for most people to learn. But I get this question, like some version of this question all the time. So you're in good company there. All right, next we have from Addie Bernardo. I'm a web designer, so I have to build a lot of sites. Can I use the course and the templates on multiple websites? Yeah, absolutely. It's not limited to just one website. It's knowledge that I'm sharing with you. It's a process and a system I'm sharing with you that you can use over and over again. Hope that helps. Okay, next we have Danine 21. I have a law firm which seeks to target Spanish speakers, and let me just mute here. I'm getting some sound effects there. I don't know if you guys are hearing that. So I have a law firm that seeks to target Spanish speakers, and I'm licensed in practice in 2 adjacent states. Do I create 4 landing pages? So this is an interesting question. So first of all, we have to get clear on what we mean by a landing page. What this would tell me you really need is like probably 4 different service location pages. So if you have 2 services, 2 different states, you probably want to make, and for that matter, you might want to split it up more into cities because people tend to, like if they're looking for an attorney, they tend to not just type in like California, they'll type in Los Angeles or whatever city they're in. So you might want to do even more than that and have a let's just call it a landing page for every service you offer and every city you offer it in, right? So that people can find it based on that. This is going to become really important when it comes to AI search, which is right around the corner. We're kind of almost, I'm not saying we're abandoning Google search, but it's going down a road that within a year, people are going to be going to ChatGPT, Perplexity, AI tools to find them businesses to work with. So this is all going to become very important when it comes to that. So yeah. All right. Next we have Dexter Morgan. Is that the Dexter Morgan? Should I be scared? Your content is awesome, dude. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And then Jatinder says, I want to talk about the landing page for mobile devices as 70 to 90% of traffic is coming from mobile. Yes. So I put out the video on Tuesday. Whenever I do a video on like landing pages or home pages, I get a ton of comments from you guys saying, but what does it look like on mobile, right? And it's a fair question, but the point is the content is the same. The content's all the same. The only thing different on mobile is the way it kind of restructures itself. So generally speaking, what's on the left column will be on top, and then what's on the right column will just shift underneath it for mobile. Other things like you probably want to remove a lot of images, just the nice to haves that you can have on desktop because there's a lot of room for it and it paints a nice picture. You can't always have all that stuff on mobile because it's like time is money on mobile, right? Like they have to kind of scroll more. So you have to get to the point more. Images need to be used a lot more sparingly with a lot more intention behind them. So that's like the short answer to this. All right. David Parsons, I have one kind of business, personal development, all online, and my wife has a dog training business, mostly local. If we got this, could it be used to help with website dev for both of us? Yes, again, I mean, you know, technically I could say, oh, one person, one use, but I don't really do that. It's not worth the trouble. So if you want to share it with your wife, have at it. That's fine. Just don't like be sharing it with your friends and passing along passwords and stuff. That's kind of all I ask. All right, Ben Ortlip says, why are you so awesome? Ben, I don't know, but thanks for the question. I disagree, but thank you very much. Appreciate it. Caught me off guard there. Sherry Cameron says, what do you think about pop-ups? So pop-ups on websites, it's the kind of thing like we all hate them, right? Like no one really likes a pop-up. It's intrusive, but the point is they work, right? There's a reason people do them, and it's because it basically just calls attention to something you want to call attention to. So I'll give some rules for the road here, though, if you're going to use them. First one, you really only want to do them, I think, as an exit intent, meaning once the browser can detect that someone's mousing back up toward the back button, that's when the pop-up would open, right? They were about to leave anyway. It's a Hail Mary pass. It's like one last ditch effort attempt to get them back with a lead magnet or a special offer or something like that. Well, you don't, or they can be timed. I've seen that too, where like after they're there for a minute, it can pop up, or once they've scrolled a certain way down the page, it can pop up. The point being they've shown some interest already. What you don't want, and what happens way too often, is these things just get triggered like as soon as you land on a page. No one wants that. It's going to make people bounce off your page faster than anything. So it's a love-hate relationship with them, but they do work, and I do teach them inside of the program in a very considered way, right? I teach the exit intent. I show you how to do it. There's a template for it. There's a couple templates for it, so you can kind of take your pick of how you want it to look. But it is good for just getting those people who are about to leave. All right. Free Saints, why WordPress instead of something like Webflow or Squarespace? That's an easy answer. Actually, I don't know Webflow that much, so maybe that's better, but Squarespace, Wix, I've used them. They're very limiting, and at the end of the day, you're renting that website from Squarespace or Wix. You don't have, like, WordPress has access to so many different plugins, and a plugin, if you don't know, just extends the functionality of your website, right? You can do anything on WordPress. Squarespace, I would not make that claim. And you're kind of locked into these templates that are pretty hard to like reconfigure. I've done it, I've tried it, I've made videos about it. Yeah, never had good luck with it. So WordPress is just, I feel like Wix and Squarespace, maybe Webflow, not sure, maybe talking smack there, I don't know. But I feel like these are training wheels websites, right? It's like, oh, we're making it really easy for anyone to make it. So you don't need a real website. You just need this easy website that you can make yourself. The thing is now with like things like Elementor, you can do the same thing on WordPress and it can actually be a lot better. Webflow might be more like Elementor though, I'm not sure. All right. Next we have Auto Radiance Detail. Wes, love your content. Do you have any ideas for a mobile car detailer? In terms of ideas, I mean, it's the same for any service, right? I would say like you really want to hit on a couple things. You want to, if you're mobile car, to me, that means you travel out to them. So you want to make a big deal about that. You want to really make it about convenience. I would make it more about the convenience than about the car detailing, because people can get their car detailed anywhere, right? And it's really hard to say something like, we detail your car better than anyone else does, right? Everyone probably does. I mean, I'm sure there's people that suck at it, right? But I would imagine most people do kind of about the same job with it. So you want to really hit home the convenience. We will go to you. while you're working, while you're doing other things, we can, really make your car shine. So it's my biggest idea for you there. But, the Launchpad would have a lot more, the whole system for how to create all that content for you, but not to oversell it. All right, Dory Thompson says, hi everyone, I've already purchased the Launchpad, but I wanted to hear your questions and answers. Okay, cool. Well, welcome, Dory. Glad you made it. Did you buy this week, or were you in it before? Okay, Andre, maybe irrelevant to your topic. Do you feel like courses and info products in future with the prevalence of AI? I think you're asking, do you think courses and info products are kind of going away with the prevalence of AI? I have heard that opinion expressed. I don't think so. I don't, because here's the reason why. AI, to my opinion, is a bigger, better, badder version of search, right? It's like you can get all this research done similar to how you could do it with Google or even on YouTube, right? There is nothing that anyone can teach you in a paid course that you probably couldn't find on YouTube if you scattered, I'm gonna find every video. There's no new ideas really, right? So it's like what a course does, what AI still doesn't do, is put it all together in a step-by-step system with an expert behind it. So AI, here's the thing, AI is gonna get better and better and better, and we may reach a point, in the next couple of years where that's very true. And it can just have the whole world's knowledge at its fingertips and know this is the expert thing. But if you were to try to look up on ChatGPT or something right now, what do I need on my service business website? It's gonna give you some pretty basic stuff, right? That it's gonna find from a couple blog posts. So to answer your question, I think we will get there eventually, but for now we're not there. And I think also in the future, people are still gonna value being taught by someone they trust, right? Someone who they know, like a real person, as opposed to AI, but it's early days yet. It's hard to know. All right, JP. Hey, can you show a HVAC website that you would say is the best layout and lead gen funnel, please? I'm not gonna really be showing websites today, unfortunately, and I don't really have one at the ready to show, but sorry about that. Okay, Free Saints, I run a coaching practice, but I'm looking to get into course creation and using a subscription model. Would your program work well for something like this? Not exactly. So basically, when you're selling a course, it's essentially a product, right? It's something you have to pull out your credit card and buy now. The way the Launchpad really works is it shows you how, as a service business, to make the kind of website that's going to spark action. Like they schedule an appointment with you, or they schedule a consultation with you. It's a different flow of information that needs to sell a course. That's a very specific thing that's different from what I teach. So long story short, you could probably pick up some tips, but I can't in good conscience say it would be what you need. So, all right. But I mean, for the coaching practice, it could work very well, just not for the course creation stuff. All right. Sherry Cameron, how do I get in an AI search? Oh, great question. So I'm actually making a video about this right now. I'm in the process of writing that script. Basically, it's a lot of the same things you would do for SEO, but also different. It's a lot of creating pages on your website and cleverly on other websites that basically talk up your business as the best option for different scenarios, and including blog posts kind of what's the best, I don't know what, oh, looks like you're in law, Sherry. Let's just say you're a family law attorney. I don't know. You would want to have these kind of listicles featured on the web that say the best family law attorneys in Houston or whatever, wherever you are. And then you are magically at the top of that list, right? It'll have other ones, but it's a lot of clever things like that you want to do. You can do some of them on your site, as blog posts. And then you can do some as you can distribute press releases to get these out on other websites. You can work out deals with like blog owners where you can basically write a guest post, or sometimes you have to pay for that. But there's a lot of different things, but there's a video coming up on it, so stay tuned. All right, Robert Cook. Is the PWL course more for local service companies, or if you're a marketing agency serving national Fortune 500 companies, will this be a fit? It's for both, because it's for anyone who offers a service and you solve a problem, right? Which a local service company solves a problem, marketing agencies serving huge companies solve the problem for them. So it's all about funneling your own unique circumstances through the system. And there's there's a lot of AI tools built in here that's going to help you do that if you're having trouble kind of connecting the dots. But being a marketing agency, you probably already have a good handle on it, but I still show you how to kind of double check these things and do things like get the real words that your customers use and all that good stuff to really make the copy on your website sing and just be stand apart from what everybody else is doing. Because you gotta know, I'm sure you already know this, like people in your industry, they're all talking kind of the same way about stuff. So you don't want to do that. All right, Adriana Gabriella. If the hero image is as important as the text for wedding photographers and the image face close up should be big to be effective, how would you do it? Okay. So if the hero image is as important as the text, and it's not, except for if you're a wedding photographer, it is. And I would argue as a wedding photographer or any kind of photographer, the images are probably more important. So I would say, let me just read through this question again. And the image has to be big to be effective. How would you do it? I'm not understanding the nuance of the question. I mean, basically what you need is the hero section, right? And I'm all turned around here. So, okay, so this side has the text as the headline, subheadline, call to action. This side over here has the image. That's how I would do it. I would not try to overlay the text on top of the image as the background, because then maybe that's what you're talking about, because then the words are like over the person's face. You want the image to be unobstructed, basically over here. Okay, then the text is over here. And then you would probably want a nice little gallery pretty close underneath too, so people can see a lot of your work. All right, next we have Greg. What website design app do you recommend, Wix or WordPress? WordPress. Yeah, so we already, I won't go back over why I don't like Wix that much, but definitely WordPress with Elementor is what I like. I know there are new things that have come out recently that I do want to investigate more, but WordPress and Elementor are still, I think they're hard to beat. So, and Adriana says, needs to be faces close up due to the main differentiator for the brand. Yeah, so what I say still stands. You just don't want to cover up the face with text on top of it. All right. Oh, I didn't turn my light on here. It's all right. You guys don't mind, right? I think the lighting's fine. Okay, ND Marketing says, what's the secret sauce to making people buy from your website, mobile or regular, once they land on any of them? So, I mean, that's a big question. The best thing I can say kind of as a short answer is you have to make it about them. What so many businesses tend to do is they want to make it all about themselves as a business, bragging about how good they are, awards they've won, that kind of thing. That does have its place, mostly on your About Us page to establish authority and credibility, but you have to make it about your customer, your client, as the hero in their own story. You come in as the guide. So think of it as like Luke Skywalker, he's the hero, right? Yoda is the guide. And Yoda is the character with all the power, because he's already like been there, done that. And I'm using the Star Wars reference. I've never even seen Star Wars, but so if I'm saying anything wrong here, correct me, please. But yeah, I've never seen a Star Wars. So, but that's just like the big one that always comes to mind when I talk about this. So make your customer the hero of the page, meaning talk about their problem, Then you introduce yourself as the solution to that problem, but then you just kind of make it all about them and their journey and what's in it for them, the stakes, what could go wrong if they don't choose a company like yours or take action at all, versus what can go really right if they do decide to take action with you as their guide. All right. Peter William, I'm a marketing guy, longtime web designer also, and I'm getting now into creating videos for local service businesses. What do you suggest to get the most visible traction from the client's view? I'm just trying to understand the question. I'm getting into creating videos for local service businesses. What would you suggest to get the most visible traction from the client's view? Sorry, Peter, I'm not understanding the question quite. If you want to rephrase it, I'll get to it a little bit later. Sorry about that. Alpegra, I finally get to see you live. Yep. I love, I need to start doing these more. I used to do them a couple times. Actually, I did them every couple months, like a couple years ago. I need to do them more. I actually get a kick out of it. It's fun. All right. Addie says, do you review our website personally or give feedback along the way? I assume you mean within the Launchpad. Yes. So that's kind of the coolest part of the program. We haven't touched on it yet. It is not just a video course. It's half course, half small group coaching. So basically every week you get 90 days of small group coaching. There's usually fewer than 10 people in there at any given time, which is crazy that more people don't actually show up because there's a lot more people in the course, but the groups stay pretty small if you choose to use it. So basically in that group, I personally, or me and my team members, sometimes I'm out, but it's mostly me at this point. We answer your questions. We take a look at what you've been working on, like if you have copy for us to look at, your hero section, whatever it is. We can point you in the right direction toward if it's not quite landing, what you could do better. And then we can take a look at your final website too, and just point out anything that we see that might make it even better. So yeah, you're in it with us, in the trenches for 90 days. And the cool thing about that is, because you might be wondering, well, what if I'm not ready yet? You get to start the clock on when that 90 days starts. So if you buy today, but you're not ready to start, you'll get an email and you basically just click a button that starts your 90 days. So you could do it months from now or a year from now if you want. So, the world is your oyster there. Okay, JP, can you show? Yeah, we've already covered that. We're not going to be able to show that because I don't have one ready. Have you ever used, Haas Vegas says, have you ever used Duda? I have not. No, I've not. TK says, hi, you teach Elementor, but if I use a different theme, I would have to figure out by myself what I need to do. Is there any type of price break for those who don't use Elementor? No, I'm sorry, there's not. The real benefit of the course is the content. That's 90% of it right there. So yeah, it's just, unfortunately, it's one price. So what I'd recommend though, if you have a different theme you want to use it. So the only time I'd say go for it is if you already know how to use something else, in which case you're still following along with what we've built, right? You're still following along with the templates and just kind of recreating it. Or if you don't already know how to use another theme, then I would say just go with Elementor, make it easy on yourself. But it sounds like you probably know how to use something else. All right, Dory says, I bought this week. I love your content. Can't wait to start the process. Yeah, can't wait to see you in those coaching sessions, Dory. Take advantage, please. All right, Fretful, what's your favorite website builder plugin? Yep, it's Elementor. I've been using it for years. It's amazing. Kaisers says, hey, what about a VSL in the landing page is for videography business? Yeah, so VSLs can work great. I've not had a whole lot of experience with them. They are a bit old school, right? But I think they do still work. For videography, I would say the visuals can do a lot of your heavy lifting. So there's a couple things here. There's a couple kinds of businesses that get a little less out of this whole system, if I'm being honest, because they're less reliant on the words and they're more reliant on pictures. So if you're a videographer, people are judging you first and foremost on your work. If you're a photographer, it's kind of the same thing. Trying to think of other contractors, I think, who can show like style samples of their work. I think they still need a good, they still need some good salesmanship in their marketing copy. Designers the same way. I think interior designers, I think graphic designers still need to be able to talk about their work in a way that makes sense. But for photographers and videographers, I think it's mostly your work. So you can do a VSL where you're basically kind of really painting that, but VSLs are really based on like problems being solved. So unless you've got a really good problem that you solve at your core, then it may not work quite as well as for other businesses. All right, Jacob Nielsen, what's the difference between this new PWL course and your last one? So this is not brand new, the one we're launching right now. It was brand new as of, I believe it was January. So we made a lot of updates. We added a lot of AI to the process, really to try to make everything as like foolproof as possible, because we know a lot of you guys are not expert marketers, right? You run your businesses, you know your business, you don't necessarily know how to market it. So what we noticed in the last version was we gave all the formulas and the frameworks, but people were having a hard time applying them, right? So we added several standalone different AI assistants, essentially, that'll help you research your ideal customer. Yeah, that's in module 1, and kind of come up with the overall messaging framework. Then in module 2, that's where you turn all that into copy, like finished the actual words on your website, and I help you do that through AI. So it's a lot of AI help, and the templates are updated as well from the last version. So this one isn't brand new. Like if you bought in January, this is the same thing. But if you bought before then, this is new. But if you bought before, you don't have to rebuy. You all automatically get access to every new version. So if you buy today, you'll get access to future versions as they come out. All right. Let's see here. John R. Clarkson. Do we need to purchase ChatGPT for the course? You don't need to. There is a free version of it. I will say you're going to get more out of it if you do have the paid version. The good news is it's $20 a month. And while I recommend like keeping that, because ChatGPT is gold, I think it's great for so many things. But you could always cancel it after you're done building, right? You don't have to keep paying for ChatGPT if you're not using it anymore. But I would say maybe start with free and see how far it's getting you. But it's gonna stop you. You're gonna bump into limits of when it says like, oh, you've reached your chat limit for today, and then you're gonna lose momentum. So that's the big thing. All right. Ben Smith, just want to express the wealth of help you and your channel have been for me in my web development career. Thanks for all you do. Thank you for that, Ben. I really appreciate that. Messages like that are kind of why I do this. So keep it up. Appreciate it. Then John says, is the course appropriate for a DIY estate planning service? I don't know what you mean by DIY, because if you're doing it for them, I would say like if you're an estate planning service, then yes. If you are providing any service for people, this will work. What I will say, the two caveats, I already covered one, like photographers will get a little less out of it, right? And also like restaurants and stuff like that. Like restaurants, bars, that's not really what this is for. Technically, it sounds like it's in the service industry, but it's not like a service business like that. So yeah, it sounds like it would be right up your alley, John. All right, then Kaiser says, in other words, what is your opinion on VSL on the landing page for video? Yeah, so we've already talked about that, Kaisers. I still think that it's a little less important for you than for other types of businesses. Sarah, I love the new content. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Razia, I already have a website, but it doesn't get a lot of traffic. Will this course help me? Yes. So we do have a bonus module that comes with the course called Turbo Traffic. It's going to basically help you choose your own adventure of what would be the best kind of traffic source for your website. And then I'll kind of point you down a path based on your own circumstances. Then there's a follow-up video for each of these traffic sources. I can actually even, let me go ahead. I'm just going to show you. So this is a sneak peek inside of the course itself. So if you go to bonuses down here, we have the Turbo Traffic module right here. So this one helps you decide on the direction. Then we have all the different, things that can help you get people to your website. This one happens to be my favorite one, content attraction marketing. It's all about kind of, YouTube and creating content to get people to your site. So that one is really good. Okay. Next, Free Saints. That's fair. The education content that I produce has a lot of touch points with me. It's not a strict go to my website to sign up. Yep, that's the difference. Like if you're asking people to pull out your credit card, it's different. All right, Sadie. Hi Wes, love your videos. I'm a real estate agent and stuck in analysis paralysis with the tech side. Do you recommend my type of industry to make my own website? I need it to be integrated with MLS. And I'm unfamiliar with FUB though. Yeah, so I think it's always a good idea because ultimately, Sadie, when you're a realtor, you're running your own business, right? I don't know exactly how it works because I know there's like brokerages and then I have several friends that are realtors. But I think at the end of the day, like you are running your own little business, right? Under an umbrella of somebody else. But yeah, you do want your own website. I'm not going to show you how to integrate MLS, but that's easily figure outable like with YouTube. So you would just create the content as I show you like the rest of the content for your pages. Then you would just kind of figure out the best place to put that. And I could always help you with that too in the group coaching calls week to week. But yeah, it's definitely a good thing for a realtor to have their own website. And furthermore, it should say the right things. It needs to sell you because realtors, as we know, it's very competitive, right? You need to be able to talk about what you deliver that's different and unique in a way that people can like grab onto and it means something to them. All right. Dave, do you recommend landing pages where folks fill out forms? Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you need it for, right? So I think what you're asking is, should the form be on the page itself? It can be. Generally speaking, the way that works best is if it's some kind of more of like an emergency type service, like locksmiths, plumbers, that kind of thing, where they don't really want to be clicking around. They just need to like get something going right away. Usually I like to get them to a dedicated page to do that if it's something else. If for no other reason, psychologically, just that extra click, it's a mini yes, it's a mini commitment once they get to that next page, right? It further entices them to actually fill it out. So I wouldn't say like that's a huge difference. It's a little thing that I think can make a small difference. All right, Manoj, hopefully I'm saying that right. What should be top of funnel content strategy for a business? Should we still continue to blog as AI mode will answer most of it? Yeah. I do not think blogging is the future, unfortunately. I think it's YouTube. This shouldn't be a surprise to most of you if you've been watching me for any length of time. I'm a huge believer in YouTube. It is the best way to get people interested in anything you're selling, right? You build lots of rapport. Like I'm here with you right now, I'm talking to you. This is so much different than a blog post, right? Like you can convey so much more this way. So I know it's a lot more involved than writing a blog, but yeah, blog posts are gonna be pretty extinct pretty quickly. And they're gonna be mostly to feed the AI, which then the AI is going to be just feeding on AI written stuff, and it's going to be a little bit of a snake eating its own tail. So that's going to have to be figured out. But for now, I don't see it being the future. All right, Nick Hewitt, what's next for website? Are they becoming old hat? Yeah, this is funny because I do think a lot of people kind of assume that websites are going away because of AI. And it's true that people may start relying more and more on AI tools to kind of tell them what businesses to work with. But I still believe at my core that people are going to want to, if nothing else, just vet the business that they're told to go with, right? So I've told the story on YouTube before, but I have a pergola on my rooftop that needed to be repainted. For the first time ever, I just went to ChatGPT to tell me like, okay, give me 3 good businesses that do this, and then give me the reasons why. They gave me 3. I looked at all their websites just to kind of check them out and make sure that they felt like real businesses. So it's kind of like when you get a recommendation from just a person in real life, Your next door neighbor tells you to check out this company. You're going to go to their website most likely. You're probably not just going to call them unless it's the kind of business where you don't really need to investigate. But websites are still very valuable. I don't see them going away anytime soon. Certainly not in the next couple of years. So yeah, we can't really tell what the future is going to hold. There may be something new coming around the bend that we don't know about. But for now, websites are still that bottom of the funnel piece that you need. Any company that doesn't have a website, how much do you trust that company, right? Feels like they're not a real business. Bad Lieutenant, besides all your help, is there still someone on your side that we can hire for all us lazy and spoiled? Yeah, we have. This is kind of a new recent development because, some people, once they get into it, they're like, I just kind of want to hire this out to someone. We do have, I think, a couple people that we can refer people to. They're not like internal, they're not on our team or anything. But Tyler, my right hand in the business, he's the techie one of the two of us. He knows a couple people that are really good at this stuff, and they know the Launchpad material very well. So they can always take what you've done and then you just pay them. I don't want to say the dollar amount because I'm not exactly sure. Tyler, if you're here, if you want to drop that in the chat, like what they charge, just so people know. All right. Dax Adventure. The internet thinks so. Okay, this is a comment to someone else. Okay, Anisha, have you ever used Divi, and is there anything that makes Elementor better or more user-friendly? Yeah, so Divi is a theme, and I generally, I haven't used Divi, by the way, but I've used WordPress themes. I tend to hate using them. I just find them to be really hard to customize and work with, as opposed to Elementor, where you can start with like just a page, and it'll have sections on it, or you can just start from scratch with just different blocks and just add blocks. That's how I like to work. With themes like Divi, it's like you're given this whole page, and then it's almost as if they're saying, this looks really great from a designer's point of view. Now you just have to think of what text you want to insert in all these little spots because it looks so great, if that makes sense, right? So it's like we're coming up with the look first, and then we're slotting in content after, which not the way to do things. Like it's got to start with the marketing message, with the copywriting, then the design serves that, right? And Elementor makes that really easy because you can just add this block to serve this section. Then, oh, I've got an FAQ section. Let me put in this block for that. You know what I mean? So for me, it works better. All right, Free Saints. Do you recommend allowing people to directly book a free call directly from the website? I currently use Calendly, but was worried about putting that on the website. Yeah, I like Calendly. I think that's a good solution. Basically, for anyone who doesn't know, it allows people just to like get on your calendar right away. So it's instead of the thing of give me all your information and then we'll call you. No, who knows when we're going to call you back, right? But we'll give you a call, we promise. That I don't like so much because when are you going to call me? Like when I'm in line at the store, when I'm picking my kids up from school, right? So I like the Calendly thing. Lets them pick a time. And by the way, it coordinates with your calendar. So it's not ever choosing a time that you haven't pre-said is available. So they pick the time that works for them. They're expecting the call. It all works out pretty good. All right, Nick Hewitt. We'll still be using websites in 21, 25. We'll see. I don't know about that. That may be pushing it, but we'll probably all just have websites like inside of our brains at that point. But Sarah, you mentioned that you and your team run the groups. Who's on your team? Yeah, so it's going to be Tyler, the one who I talked about before. He knows all this content inside and out. So it's mostly going to be, it's either him or me, and he's in most of the calls with me. So I throw to him when it's more of a technical question, because you guys know I know more of the marketing side. He knows all that too now. But when it's technical, I have him answer. But yeah, so it's mostly me and Tyler doing that. All right, Ronnie Zag. Hey, won't you come in Santorini this year? Hey, Ronnie, you're the one who I saw in Santorini last year, or you saw me and I rudely walked past. I'm sorry about that. Actually, we did a cruise to Northern Europe this year. So we went to like Finland and Denmark and stuff like that. So, but Santorini was great. All right, Chris, have you moved away from WordPress? Nope, I have not. WordPress, maybe you're confused. Like if I'm talking about Elementor works with WordPress. So yeah, still a WordPress guy. ND Marketing, what's a more sensible solution to secure your web traffic, SEO, Google search, especially when it's already established that Google AI recommendations taking away traffic versus organic search? Yeah, so what I'm really starting to lean into now, well, not for me, because now I rely on YouTube traffic, right? I don't need to do SEO anymore, but back in the day I did. If I were starting a service business today, I would be doing almost everything to really make sure that AI is recommending me. That's tools like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, but it's also Google AI mode. So we kind of talked about this earlier in the chat here, but so I'm not going to go over all that again, but look out in the near future. There is a video coming from me all about how to make your website AI search friendly. So that's going to be some good stuff. It's pretty exciting because it's in kind of blue ocean territory now where other businesses aren't doing this yet. So you can really clean up if you're doing it right. All right, whatever comes to mind. I've been a digital marketing specialist only about 5 years. Before I would have said SEO optimized blogs. Now that info seems outdated, what replaces a basic digital strategy? So first and foremost, video content. Top of funnel, YouTube, I've already said it. If you are present on YouTube and you're making videos that are closely aligned with what you charge money for, right? You're not selling in the videos necessarily. You're giving DIY solutions to what you offer. So if you're, or maybe not even DIY solutions, just advice. Like if you're a lawyer, you're giving legal advice, right? You're saying like, these are the things you probably want to think about if you're being sued, or how not to get sued, or if you're a financial planner, what stocks to watch out for right now, or you know what I mean? You get it. Like you're giving away free information, you're building trust with people, and then you're just casually mentioning, yeah, and I do this for clients all the time. And every fourth video, you can basically be like, and if you want even more help from me, I can help you one-on-one, just book a call in the description below, right? So that, and then also getting set up to be recommended through AI search, and you'll be set. All right. Chris, do you cover getting first clients? So I assume you're talking about within the Launchpad here. Not necessarily. This is mostly about getting the website in good shape to where when people start coming there, they're getting what they came for, they're getting what they need. But with Turbo Traffic, that bonus module, we do cover how to get traffic to the website. So clients come from traffic that comes to your site that's then fed the right information that makes them trust you enough to take that next step. So in a roundabout way, yes. that teaches you how to get your first clients. And we actually have quite a few case studies. If you want to go to this page, I can't ever point in the right spot right here. westonmcdowell.com/live launch, the sales page for this. You'll see a ton of testimonials from people. And there's one from a guy named Marvin who tells a story how he got his first client when the site wasn't even done yet. Like he was still building it and it was live, I guess accidentally, and he got his first client from that. So not saying that'll happen for you, but it's interesting that that happened at all. Somesh, can I get clients from making Loom videos and what's the strategy? Yeah, so I mean, making Loom videos, I imagine you'd be putting those on YouTube, or are you talking about the whole, okay, there's two ways I can see this going. Helpful, like tutorials you put on YouTube, great. The thing where the emails I get all the time, people saying, oh, look at how bad your thumbnails are on YouTube and I can make them better. And they're not even mentioning my name, meaning it's a Loom video they've made for everybody. Don't do that. I mean, do what you want, but I would say like cold emails are not the best way to endear yourself to future clients. I personally can't stand getting cold emails. If I haven't signed up for anything from you, if I don't know you, you haven't kind of taught me anything yet, you shouldn't be emailing me soliciting business. But that's just my opinion. I know there are people that really believe in that. So, all right. Caesar Cruz, what do you think would drive the most traffic to a brand new Asian hot sauce Shopify website? New company, no SEO, amazing content. Thank you. So I don't really get into e-commerce, so I'll just make this quick. I would say TikTok. I would just make short videos, get people, get micro-influencers to like try it on camera, like maybe lean into like what they do on Hot Ones maybe, I don't know, like have them maybe make some kind of a viral channel, like not that you can engineer anything to go viral, but I would do influencer marketing on like TikTok, Instagram, that kind of thing. All right. Looking for snow. I want to redo my website that's using another theme on WordPress. What's important to keep from the old website and not scrap completely, like URL slugs, etc. Okay, so redo the website. It's on another theme. So yeah, you want to make sure like any page that's getting good traffic already, you do want to make sure that the URL strings are exactly the same, right? Because otherwise it'll break. Or you can do redirects like, I just forget, is it 301 redirect? I haven't like thought about this in the longest time. But I think the 301 redirect, if I'm not mistaken, is the one that passes along like 95% of the SEO power. So if like that first page gets a lot of links to it, if you make a second page and you redirect it the right way, it's still gonna get most of that like link juice, they used to call it, right? So keep that, just keep anything that is currently working for you. But I'm not a big fan of like retrofitting a site, and I just kind of like, I like to kind of rethink things when I'm doing a redesign, right? Like how can we look at this through fresh eyes and make it something that's actually going to land with people versus let's just put Band-Aids over this, this, and this. That's just kind of how I look at it. All right, Jackson. Questions about the course. Do the 90 days start from the date of purchase or from when we actually begin the course? Okay, so yeah, touched on this earlier, you probably missed it. You make the call. So basically there's a button, you'll get an email, then your 90 days don't start until you press that button. And a lot of people never press the button. Like a lot of people sleep on this, which is a shame. So, but that's what keeps the groups small. So for those of you that choose to use it, it's actually kind of good. So yeah, you push that little button when you're ready to do it. So a lot of times what I tell people is like, maybe you want to do it like, well, no, I think you should do it as soon as you start, because that way you get the benefit of being able to ask questions the whole way through. I wouldn't recommend doing it when it's done, because then you only get, me to kind of look over it in the end. I'd rather you get to have my input throughout the process. So, and then other question, also how many hours until the offer's up? It's a good question. So we're looking at probably 11 hours at this point. It's at midnight Chicago time. That's an easy way to look it up. So you have 11 hours to get that deal. Hope to see you on the inside, Jackson. All right, Knight Rider, 1969. I've been watching your content from the UK. Nice, I was just there. Need to produce a landing page to sell a digital product. What landing page provider do you recommend? Yeah, so this is interesting. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't look at landing page. A lot of people, when they think of landing pages or sales funnels, they think of the tech. They think of like ClickFunnels or like a company that or a template that makes them. I just make them with WordPress and Elementor, right? Because I think a lot of times when you start talking about those, like the ones from ClickFunnels, to me and to my eye, they look insanely spammy, right? Like, I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but they look like some remnant from like 15 years ago, and they just feel like a used car salesman talking to you. So I don't like that. I like them to look more like a homepage and just feel friendly. So they have that kind of vibe of a nicely designed, doesn't have to be overly designed, but just friendly homepage. It's all about the content though. That's the key, the content, not the tech, the software that's making it. All right, Blue Wave. Is this meant for designers or small business owners? Yeah, it's meant for small business owners. You do not need to be a designer. Like, we've thought everything through in advance so that you can do it regardless of the skills you're bringing to the table. So, however, we do have a lot of web pros in the course who basically know that they want to be able to sell a better website to their clients. And by better website, we mean all the messaging, all the stuff, like the content that actually is going to do a good job of selling the business. Because most websites do a pretty bad job at that. You know, they talk too much about themselves, all that stuff. So web designers who want to get out of the rut of just designing websites and they want to provide something more valuable, we've got a ton of them in the course too. So if anything, that just speaks to like how versatile it is. Like, they can use it on all their service business clients, and you know, it passes their test basically, which is good. All right, Harry, will Launchpad work for a bathtub refinishing service? Yeah, I mean, it's a service, so it works for any service. You're definitely solving a problem that you can talk about in a way that will connect. So absolutely. All right, Chris Boland, another wedding photographer here. Really appreciate all the tips over the years. Yeah, you're very welcome, Chris. Appreciate that. Jake, how can we upgrade from the old version of your site kit, templates, etc., to the new styles you present in your new version of your Launchpad? Is there a step-by-step guide for that? It's not really about, so first of all, Jake, I'm not sure if you mean you don't need to rebuy this. If you have the old version, which is expiring at the end of this month, by the way. But if you've bought it this year, if you bought it since January, this is the same version, so don't worry about it. If you bought it before then, you don't need to rebuy it. You get the updates automatically. There's no like steps of taking that and redoing it for the new version. It's just a brand new thing. It's just new steps involved. You'll end up with a very similar product, but better because we have brought in AI into the process. And by the way, when I say AI, I want to make it really clear. This is not just standard ChatGPT. It's trained on all of my frameworks and all of my copywriting techniques and all these things that work so that any business can get the benefit of like all those formulas and frameworks. It's not just a series of prompts that you feed into generic ChatGPT, if that makes sense. So, yeah. All right, Sitka. How do you make your content AI safe? I think that how-to advice no longer will give them the same value because of ChatGPT. Yeah, it depends. Are we talking about like, if it's a blog post, whatever, then I agree with you, but how-to advice is still gold when it comes to YouTube or podcasts even, right? So like, people just want to get their content from a trusted source and they tend to not just want it in written form anymore. So that is what I would consider to be the most AI safe form of content is video. And I'd say podcasts are up there too, except for the part where podcasts are really hard to find an audience for. So, all right. Karen, how can we design a website in Cursor AI with Figma MCP? You got me. I don't know. Sorry about that. Clint Mendelbar, have you used Framer in creating websites? I have not. Yeah, so again, I'm the more marketing person. I'm not the like hardcore web dev guy. So that's Tyler. That's my other half on the team. He's probably got more experience in these things, but I do not, unfortunately. All right, Manna Sweeney. I run preschools and it's considered as a service. So do you think all the marketing or landing page tips still work for the school industry? Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think through that. Trying to think if there's any reason why it wouldn't work. No, I think that would work just fine because at the end of the day, when you think about it, it is a service. So yeah, I think it's all gonna be good there. And then okay, so we have this is from Tyler, not me. The developer we recommend charges $30 an hour for updates and fixes, but website charges really depend. Okay, so there you go. From that question earlier, if you join the Launchpad and you just determine that you would rather have someone else kind of finish it for you, we have someone to recommend who can make those, bring it to life for you, the content you create for you for $30 an hour. So there you go, which is a good deal, by the way. Sarah says, thanks, you're very welcome. Dale, how much do you spend on boosting your videos per month versus just organic views? Nothing. I don't do that. I would love to be able to do that, but it doesn't work very well. So anyone who's doing YouTube thinking, put some money behind it to increase your views, you're gonna get the wrong people and they're gonna bounce off your videos pretty quick. And then YouTube sees that and they think, oh, people don't like this video, so we're not gonna show it to people anymore. So I wouldn't even do that. All right, Minaj. People need to purchase or perform action on a website, so it's still needed even if AI agent does all the work. It has to visit a website. I don't remember the context of this before, so I can't really comment. All right, plan C, I just need to build a website for myself. Should I do it with traditional website builders or should I get a subscription for AI website generator? So subscription for AI website generator, I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean one of those like AI web building tools? I don't love most of them, to be honest. They can work okay, but at the end of the day, you're gonna be doing a lot of manual retooling of it. So I would say, not to be biased here, but the Launchpad is gonna be really good for you, or you can just watch one of my free YouTube videos if you just wanna learn how to how to do a website. Like it's not gonna have the right content, but at least it'll show you how to use Elementor and just get a website up. That would be my recommendation. All right, Addie, is there a refund policy? I want to get it, but what if it's not right for me? Tech scares me. I feel you. Tech scares me a little bit too. Yeah, there is a refund policy. So 14 days, sorry. If you don't like it for whatever reason, we'll just give you your money back. It doesn't happen very often, but it does sometimes. And usually it's like people just get it and they're like, oh, it's not really, I don't really have time for this as it turns out. So, but yeah, happy to give you your money back if you're not getting anything out of it. All right, Free Saints, any concerns with spam or bots when allowing people to book appointments via Calendly from the website? No, and I don't know exactly, I can't tell you the technical reasons why, but Calendly, it's an embed. So if people were to break into your Calendly somehow, that's not gonna affect the rest of your site. I don't know, I wish I could have a smarter answer, but that's not how it works. So I wouldn't worry about that. All right, Gail, do you offer a senior discount for your course? I'm sorry, Gail, we don't. We don't really have any this is the only discount we have, which is twice a year we do this. We just take $100 off. So that's your discount. Yeah, sorry about that. All right, Razia, how long does it usually take to complete the course? So that's completely up to how much time, like how many hours can you commit to it per week, right? I have had people tell me they've gone through it in a weekend. That is very fast. And I don't think that's like indicative of how it will normally go for most of you. I would say realistically, if you're gonna go through everything and you're gonna do it piece by piece, and you're gonna spend maybe a couple hours a day on it chipping away, you could get it done in a couple weeks. It's really not that complicated, especially now that we have all these AI tools built into it. It makes it pretty seamless and fast. Okay, Oscar Saldana, how difficult or easy is it to replace my current theme with one that's easier to manipulate? I had my hosting company's AI create a website. I want to make changes, but the theme is difficult. Yeah, see, this is not a great question for me to answer. It's more of a tech question, so unfortunately I'm not going to be able to really answer that. All right, Peter. Okay, thanks for rephrasing that. What's the best way I can show my clients that I'm making videos that it's worth it for them, even if they're not getting a lot of organic views in the first months? Okay. So you're a videographer, I think. You're making videos for clients. You're trying to tell them why it's worth it, even if they're not getting a lot of organic views on those videos at first. I mean, what you can tell them is just, it's not about getting a lot of views, it's about getting the right views, right? Which is true. It's not, especially if these are like videos that are selling things, they don't need to go viral, right? They just need to show up in front of the right eyeballs who are going to become clients. So that's what I would say. And it takes the work off their plate, and video is where things are going in the future. So any business who's really scared of being on video, I think you're going to be at a major disadvantage in a couple years. All right. Oh, Dale, thanks for the super chat. How much do you spend in boost? Oh, okay, we already answered that. Yeah, as I said, 0. And I think maybe like the software I'm using is going to duplicate these if there's a super chat, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't spend any money on boosting videos. Okay, looking for Snow. Can you recommend any resources for how to effectively use HubSpot for a service business? Perhaps a course like yours. Oh, I'm sure there are plenty of courses on that. HubSpot is a very robust program that I've not dipped my toes into at all. So there's a ton of content on YouTube about that. And I'm sure there's like start to finish courses as well. All right. Let's see here. Solange says, hi Wes, can you give some advice for hotels and tour operator websites? I'm from Ecuador and I want to help them boost their reservations without depending on Booking. I assume you mean like booking.com, like those other websites. So hotels is also kind of I'd put that almost in the restaurant bar category, right? It's a different kind of thing than what I specialize in. I specialize in service businesses. So yeah, I can't really give you a whole lot of great advice there. I am sure there's people on YouTube that talk more about this, and I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. All right, I like to stay in my lane. All right, Big Jim Stream. I've watched a ton of your videos and based my website on what I learned. Can you look at it? Unfortunately, Jim, I'm not looking at websites today. I might do that in the near future, though. I might, do a website review. But today we're just answering questions. All right, Michelle. Love your videos, Wes. Thank you very much. Anyone thinking about profitable website Launchpad? It is quality information that I've continued to refer to for years. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, I knew your name looked familiar. I remembered it. Wes, when does YouTube Academy open up again? So that's my other program. It's always open. My programs don't go away anymore, but it's a matter of like, when is it going to be in special enrollment like this one is, where it's $100 off? That's going to be in October, I believe. We just had it in May. It'll come up again in October. So look out for that, Michelle. All right. Volume 5, what's the best client acquisition strategy? Again, YouTube. I'm just going to double down on that. There's nothing better than that. Hi from Italy. Hello. You and Raphael, which is the best AI build app and website testing platform that works with the Claude code? Yeah, this is another question that I'm not going to be able to answer, Ewan. Sorry. All right, and we're at the end of our questions here. So if you have anything else for me, throw it in. I can go for another little bit if you guys want me to. All right, I'm familiar with Elementor/WordPress, but until agents can click and drag, I suppose we won't get any AI help with layout. Hopefully OpenAI Agent. Yeah, so Agent just launched yesterday. I'm kind of excited about it. I'm looking into it. I'm just seeing like what it's all about. But yeah, even when these agents can control your browser, and by the way, Perplexity has one now that can, I still don't think it's going to be a good designer. It's crazy to me that there hasn't been a better AI design tool, like web design tool that's come out yet. There's really nothing. Which shows me just how nuanced I think it actually is. So, but yeah, I agree with you. Until it can do that, we're kind of stuck doing it ourselves. But we can always draw on AI in bits and pieces, right? Like that's what this is going to show you how to do. It is not a one-click AI is going to make you a website, because trust me, I've tried that. It doesn't work. Like I think we're many, many years away from something like that. But if you can use AI smartly to help you research your customers, the words they use, that is gold. Then you turn that into the copy for your site with proven formulas and frameworks. And then you can bring it to life, and that's like your best bet. So let's see. We have John, difference between your program and StoryBrand or ClearBrand. I know StoryBrand, I've never heard of ClearBrand. So basically, StoryBrand, if anyone's unfamiliar, it's the hero's journey, right? They've very cleverly kind of packaged it up in a really interesting way. What my course does, so StoryBrand kind of leaves off at a certain point. They do tell you like, these are the beats, right? That like your marketing needs to go into. But what I found with that years ago was, yeah, but how do I make that into a website, right? Like what are the actual nuts and bolts of like the pieces of like, how does that fit into a website in a repeatable way? That's where this program comes in. It's kind of picking up from that hero's journey. There's some StoryBrand stuff in there, but I mean, that all comes from there anyway. It's just marketing principles that have been working for decades. And then just kind of putting my spin on them, like what I've done over the years for service business websites, the sections I know work, things that people need to know as they go through it. So that's really all it is. It's taking it a step further. All right, Addie, are the templates mobile friendly and optimized for SEO? Yes, so the templates, they're already pre-made responsive, meaning you put in all your content, all the work is already done to where it'll resize for mobile. As far as being optimized for SEO, yeah, as long as you get in the keywords right. But again, SEO is kind of going the way of the dodo. So it's not as powerful as it used to be. But yeah, I mean, as long as you still want to use certain keywords, you still want to let Google know what your site's about. But yeah, it's all SEO optimized and all that good stuff. All right, Sherry, where do we get on the weekly chats for your Launchpad? Yeah, that's over Zoom. So basically, Sherry, once you push that button and you activate your 90 days, you will get an email every Wednesday prompting you to put in any questions you have into a form, and then we email you the link for that week's video. You show up. It's generally going to be you and up to maybe 10 people on the call. There's room for everybody to ask questions. It's pretty cool. And I love doing them. So, all right. Razia, does the program include AI building tools to build the website too? No, not really. That part isn't done with AI. That part is done manually, but with templates. So you don't really need AI because the thinking's already been, AI is good at like kind of doing work for you and doing the thinking for you, but the thinking's already been done. Now it's just a matter of like slotting in all of your content into the templates that we make for you. And by the way, we include 10 different templates that can all be customized in any number of ways with your images, colors, fonts. It's always going to look very unique to you, but you have these 10 base templates to choose from for like different layouts to make them even more unique. So, all right. Oh, wait. Let me first get to Free Saints. Are your templates mainly just site structure? Yes, because it's up to you then, and we show you how to change the colors and the fonts and the images. So yeah, that's structure. Then you kind of skin it, if for lack of a better term, with all that, with all those graphics and stuff, and then it looks like your brand, like magic. Ed Cam, is Launchpad course or app also? There's no app necessarily. It's literally, what the course is, and I will go back to the screen share here. So basically we're inside of the course now. You'd watch this video right here, and it's going to show you kind of how to get started. Then we have module 1. I'm not going to go through everything, but basically we have all of these lessons. And then module 2, this is where we actually write all the content. So it's video based with the extra very important component, which is the weekly small group coaching. So you come there, me and my team will answer your questions, guide you. If you're having trouble with something, or you want me to take a look at your finished site or in progress, that's what it's for. So it's half video, half small group coaching. There's no real app involved in it. All right. And then Jan Michael, thanks a lot for the valuable info and the AI assistants are gold. Oh, hey Jan, thanks for that. Jan's in the course. Do you have any recommendations or strategy to set up the 5 emails depending on opened or not opened, clicked or not clicked? No, that's kind of a more advanced maneuver that we don't really get into inside this course. It's really just more about like that nurture sequence. You've got people on your list now, and just how to kind of, keep up the momentum. But what you can do really easily within your email program is you can have it resend an email that was not opened. So if one wasn't opened, it can resend it with a different subject line even, which is kind of cool. So that's something you can do. Just look that up on YouTube. It's pretty easy. All right, Prabhat, do WordPress websites with a directory plugin rank well on Google as they are mostly programmatic SEO? Yeah, I'm not sure about that, Prabhat, sorry. Coach VC Tennis, if I already have a website and need help troubleshooting to make sure online courses and books I have are all connected properly, do you help with that? In terms of this course, no. Yeah, this isn't really going to touch on any of that. This is mostly for service-based, not about, selling courses and books, that kind of thing. Ed, do you only use Elementor or any other page builder like Cadence, for instance? No, I only use Elementor, and that's what I show you in the course as well. But having said that, like I said earlier, if there's another program you like to use better, all you would do is you would follow along with like the page structure and just recreate it in whatever you like to use. But again, 90 to 95% of the course value is in the content we're creating, not the, technical, let's make a website part. That you can learn for free on YouTube, let's be honest, right? Sherry says not getting the email. Does that mean you signed up, Sherry? Sorry. Sometimes if you signed up, thank you, welcome. The email sometimes takes up to 15 minutes, I think, to come through. So email us, hello@wesmcdowell.com if you still don't have it in about 10 minutes or so, but that should be coming through. All right. Free Saints, you sold me. Awesome, glad to hear it. Welcome to the program. Appreciate it. All right, John says, what time is the weekly coaching? Oh, that's a good question. It's every Thursday at 12 p.m. Central Time. So if that's a deal breaker for you, like if you know you can never make that, you might weigh that out. But keep in mind, you can always submit questions in advance and then watch the playback of it later. You would lose the value of being there live and having the back and forth, but you can always ask the question. And because a lot of people ask questions week to week who aren't even there, which is sometimes why the small group coaching part works pretty well. But yeah, if you're not there, submit it in advance. We send you the email every week with a form to do that. So we make it easy on you. Then we post the replay in the Facebook group so then you can watch for your answer later. All right. Mike Addison, I've moved to adding videos to my blogs wherever I can and pairing YouTube videos with blogs, embedding them. Your advice, I recall, given you say blogs going out, do you think this keeps alive? Yeah. It's still worth doing, I think, but the real value of your videos now is just going to be on YouTube, I think, right? It's a built-in search engine. I think them being on your own blog is going to be less and less relevant over time. So if it's easy to do it, and it really is, I mean, now you can just take a YouTube video you've already made, run it through AI to make a blog post out of it, then embed the video. Probably only takes you 5 minutes of work. So, it's the kind of thing of, it's probably not going to move the needle a lot for your business, but it's also not taking up a lot of your time. So maybe you just do it and get a little bit of value from it. Okay. Oh, wait, let me go here. I feel like the evolution of web design is going to be focused on communication with clients, namely assembling hyper-specific design docs we can then feed to our vibe coding of choice. Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. All right, Chris, quick advice on marrying SEO content with your converting framework. Header and title tags, do you optimize for copy or for SEO keywords? Great question. So I always like to go with copywriting first for people, right? So for instance, for in an H1, the big headline on a page, I like to keep that persuasive. I like to keep it results focused. If you can work in an SEO keyword there, naturally, great. If not, what I like to do, my clever little trick, is just to use the subheading underneath to fit in that keyword and then just designate that as the H1 and just kind of it's kind of a little trick that I don't think Google cares about or has caught on to or anything. So that's kind of what I do there. Razia, I'm not based in the US. Would this course still work for me? Would the content still apply for my clients? Yeah, it works whether you're US based or not. That's fine. Just know it's all in English, but it looks like you're typing in English, so I assume you speak it, so that should be fine. Would the content still apply for my clients? I'm not sure. Oh, are you saying is what I teach going to be applicable? Are they going to be persuaded the same way as people in the US are? I would imagine so for the most part. I know there are cultural differences around the world, so just keep that in mind. So I would just say if anything I'm teaching feels like it doesn't work in your country, oh, that's a little too braggadocious, or that's a little too we don't do that here. That will turn people off. Then, feel free to modify. And you can tell the AI that too. You can say, you can just talk to it like a person and say, hey, by the way, in my country, this kind of thing doesn't really fly. So can we modify it to be a little more like this, a little less like this? So yeah, it can definitely still work. Dave P, I bought the Launchpad earlier this year. I've been creating websites for more than 2 decades. I can say the Launchpad is worth every penny. Thanks, Wes. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're in the course. Yeah, I love to see stuff like that. That really kind of makes me feel like it's all worth it. So appreciate it, guys. That is all the I think there was a few more questions here, but I kind of skipped over a couple that I couldn't really answer. Like Free Saints, is SiteGround recommended to use this Elementor? I can answer that. Yeah, that SiteGround's a web host. It works fine. I like it just fine. I prefer Hostinger. That's kind of my web host of choice, but you know, you pick what works for you. All right, so that's all the questions we have got here, guys. But yeah, I guess we've got some people still here. Does anyone want me to kind of go through the material in the course? Just say yes if you do. I can kind of show you just like the overview of like what's included. Maybe that'll help you decide. Not sure. And I do think we're on a delay here, unfortunately. So I'm not going to wait. I'll just do it. If you're not interested, you can go away. But yeah, or if you have any more questions to ask, you can do that. So I'm going to go back into my screen share here. So let's just go back into module 1. This is where I teach the idea of the customer saga. This is that hero's journey, right? The story brand, if you will, right? It's showing all the different things that people need to see in order to feel good about going forward with you. So things like, you know, who's your perfect client? This is going to walk you through that exercise of really digging into like, who exactly am I speaking to? Then what does your client want, right? You have to speak to a desire or like a desire that they want at the end of the day. What's their problem? What is the problem you solve? You need to get really clear on that. Then we have where you come in, enter the mentor. So that's where you come in as the, you know, Mr. Miyagi or the Yoda, the genie, whatever, and you help them you save the day for them, right? You help them win with all the tools and the skill set that you have, that you've worked your magic on a lot of other people, so you know how to do it. Then we talk about the call to action, super important. Most people get it wrong. Then we have the process plan section. So this is where you tell them like the steps involved in working with you, because a lot of people, they're going to be a little unsure about what those steps are. So, and then features and benefits. This might be one of my favorite lessons. Sorry, excuse me, because benefits sell, features sell a lot less well. But most people on their websites, they like to lead with features, not the benefits behind them. So this is going to do a really good job of not only explaining the difference, but how do we get to those benefits. Then we talk about overcoming objections, raising the stakes, making sure they know what's at stake, right? Like what could go wrong if they don't choose you? What can go right if they do? Then we get into more client research, and this is another one of my favorites, where I show you how to use AI to get the actual words that people are using when they're describing their problem, like your ideal clients, when they're describing their problem, what they've tried already that hasn't worked, you know, what they ultimately want at the end of the day, and what decision-making criteria they use, because then we can turn all that stuff into the finished copy. And this is done with AI in a really smart way. So yeah, that's a lot of good stuff here. Then in module 2, this is where we turn, so basically all along here, you've been filling out little things in a workbook, just jotting down notes, not like writing full copy. You've just been jotting things down. Then we feed that into module 2. There's its own AI writing assistant for module 2, where we talk about, so first of all, it's about setting the tone, getting that right, getting it dialed in, because maybe you want your writing assistant to write very professionally, right? And I only recommend writing to a certain professional level. Beyond that, it gets jargon heavy and gets very overwhelming. Or do you want it to be a little more fun, and I wouldn't say silly, but just more fun and kind of whimsical? You can dial it in just right. This is about that. Then we talk about the homepage flow. Then we write your homepage hero section with AI using your workbook. You've fed it into the AI. Now it's going to turn that into your hero section, problem section, solution. So all these different sections, we go section by section, and then we do all these pages too. including all about images. I show you how to use Midjourney to get really great looking images for your website, so you don't have to pay for stock images or anything like that. And I show you how to make them look not cheesy, because a ton of websites get these really cheesy looking photos, so I don't want that for you. I'm going to show you how to not do that. Oh, and Anne says, thank you for being so thorough. You're very welcome, Anne. And then Leonard is saying, how much AI will YouTube allow in a video when you've disclosed you're using AI? Not sure about that, Leonard. I haven't really had to do that yet. So I think it's more like if you're trying to fool, if people could be fooled by your video, then you probably have to disclose it's AI. All right, moving on here. The one module we have not really talked about at all is module 3, very important. It's about your lead magnet, right? This is where we talk about creating one piece of content using AI that's going to get people on your email list. That is your future runway of future clients, because 96% of the people coming to your website today are not ready to buy today. So you want to get people on your email list with a helpful piece of free content so you can then continue that relationship over email and get them to like slowly see that you're the one for them. So we talk about creating the lead magnet, and then the opt-in page for it that has to be done in a certain way. Then the email sequence that goes out after. It's delivering that, followed by 5 carefully crafted emails that are really gonna help you get even more clients. Then we put it all in automation. Then in module 4, this is where we actually, build the whole website. So yeah, that's that. When we go, you've got 10 different templates to choose from. So it's all pretty cool. We're very proud of it. It took a lot of work to get us to this point, but it works out really well for just about everybody in the course. So, all right. One last question here from Isabel. What's your best advice for a short-term quick strategy in getting prospects on your website? I know that YouTube is ideal, but it's more of a long-term strategy. What about Google Ads? Yeah, Google Ads are good too. If you're going to do Google Ads, make sure you have a landing page in place that's not just your homepage, right? It has to be for a specific offer. Otherwise, you're going to be throwing a lot of money away. But I like Google Ads. I like, any kind of ad. It just depends on what people are people searching for this thing. That's when Google Ads are good. Or is it something that they may not know they need? They may not be problem aware yet, or they're problem aware. They're not solution aware enough to like look for the solution. In which case, like Instagram ads, TikTok ads, anything like that. All right, cool. We've been going for about an hour and a half, guys. Thanks so much for sticking with me for this long. I see there are 67 of you still here, so I really appreciate it. Hope you've learned a lot, and hopefully you'll decide to take me up on this guy here. Again, there's a 14-day refund policy on it. If you don't like it, if you're not getting what you wanted out of it, you just email us and we just give you your money back. It's pretty simple. So at the very least, check out the sales page for it and just see what all is included. Read some of the testimonials so you can really see that it does what I'm saying it's doing. Yeah, people seem to love it. So check it out. Yeah, and that is it for today, guys. We'll see you next time we do a live, and I hope to see you on the inside of the Launchpad later on today. And again, you get till midnight tonight, Chicago time, to get that deal. So, all right. See you guys. Thanks for being with me.